Hello everyone! Today I have a special treat for you, a Solve Along With Me Sudoku episode by the Smart Hobbies channel. This is a collaboration video with Smart Hobbies, and if you enjoy the video you can view more at the Smart Hobbies channel or follow the creator on Reddit or Discord. In this video, Smart Hobbies will solve a classic Sudoku puzzle by the setter Florian Wortmann. Smart Hobbies explains the various expert-level tips and tricks he uses to solve a classic Sudoku puzzle. And so here's Smart Hobbies. I hope you enjoy.
Greetings, friend. This is a collaboration video between my channel, Smart Hobbies, and Learn Something. I will show you how to solve this classic Sudoku by Florian Wortmann by placing marks in the grid. I'll explain all my Sudoku tips, tricks, and strategies as I do it. Click on the link below if you want to try the puzzle yourself, and with that, it's solving time. So first I'll look and see that there's a 1 and a 1 here in columns 1 and 3, means this has to be a 1 here in block 4. And cut across, and I see there's only 2 places for a 1 in block 5, so I'll mark that. This is called Snyder Notation, and if you only see 2 places for a particular candidate in a block, you want to make that mark. It helps you solve the puzzle easier. So if you solve one of these cells, then the other one you can immediately solve for a 1 right away. Okay, I don't see anything else I can do with the 1s. I'll look at the 2s, and I see a 2 here and a 2 here, but there's 3 spots for 2. That's not going to help. But you see how these 2s interact with these 2 cells. So those only 2s, only spot for 2 right there in block 8. And nothing else I can do with, well, I see 2 spots for 2 up here in block 1. So we'll mark that. And let's look at the 3s. Don't see any things I can do with the 3s right away. And I'm looking again for some Snyder marks. So the 4s, see 2 4s right here. There's only 2 spots for 4 in block 6. So we make that mark. And then I'll look, and you'll notice the 2 and a 4 right here, and the 2 and a 4 right here. This restricts the 2s and the 4s to these 2 spots here in block 1. So this is, they call it a hidden pair. If you cross-hatch, you see that the 2 and the 4 can only be in these 2 spots. That means no other candidate can be there. And that's kind of nice, because this is going to help make a lot of restrictions for us up here in block 1. Let's look, now move on to the 5s. You see there's a 5 right here and here. So we can solve that for a 5, because no other places for a 5. And then with this 5 in column 5 and column 6, leaves only 2 spots for 5 here in block 5. And then I'm looking, nothing else I can do with the 5s. So let's move on to the 6s. I'm looking at a 6 right here and here. 3 spots for 6 in block 2, so I'm not going to mark that. But this 6 comes across, and you notice how there's a 2 4 right there, so those can't be 6s. Well, the 6s are now limited to these 2 spots right here, so this becomes what's called a pointing pair. And what it means is the 6s are limited to these 2 spots here in block 1. They can only be in column 2. Then this cell can no longer be a 6. And this one cannot be a 6 because there's already a 6 right there. But that's going to help us make some more eliminations later on in this puzzle. I am sure of it. Okay, 7s. I see a 7 here in columns 4 and 5, and a 7 across row 3, so that has to be a 7. And then I don't see anything else I can do. 7. The 8s. This is kind of nice. You see how this 8 comes up column 3, and it can't be in any of these 3 spots, and you have this 8 coming across row 4. It means only 1 spot left for an 8 right there. And so those 8s, and you don't want to look for these kind of things. You see that it cut across all these empty cells. You're going to create a lot of restrictions in the rest of that block. And in case you're wondering, you're not familiar, Smart Hobbies, I also do Sudoku videos. I focus on 3 different types. Live solving videos, like what you're seeing right now. I also do tutorials where I'll talk about different techniques and strategies, and I'll explain them using examples. And I do Sudoku analysis videos. I'll watch someone else solve a puzzle, and then I'll critique that and show what they missed, what they did right, what the strategies were that they found. So please, check out Smart Hobbies. I'll put a link in the description below. All right, 8s, 9s. Let's see here, 9. 3 spots for a 9. I can't see anything else with the 9s right there. So I'm getting to this area. I was like, okay, what else can we do with this puzzle? And we got to keep looking. And so once you have exhausted kind of where all the Snyder Notation may go, Then you have to kind of look back and see, with what you filled in, if there's something else you can do. And so I'm noticing how this 1 comes across row 1. That means the 1s are restricted to these 3 spots here in block 2, which means that it ends up being like a pointing, triple coming here into block 3. And so what that means is the 1 cannot be here or here. It can't be in this cell anyway because of this 1. So we can mark those as the 1s. They're going to be restricted to these 2 spots right there in block 3. And this is called a claiming pair, is another way of looking at it. And this is kind of like pointing triple. Okay, so we got a little more information right there. And let's see what these other things that we filled in with the 8s, the 1s. What are we looking at restriction wise? See how the 7 comes across row 4? Well, now the 7s are limited to these 2 spots here in block 4. So this is now also a pointing pair of 7s. So it means the 7 can't be in this spot. So with the 7 and this 7, we know these 2 7s are limited to those 2 spots in block 1. So it's creating some more restrictions up here, which is nice. And then trying to see 7 can't be in that spot anymore. Nothing else I can do there with the 7s. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is look for the places that have the most restriction and see if we can do some solving, right? So let's look. I'm looking here in block 5. You can see how you have a 1, a 2, no 3, a 4, a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, this has to be a 3. That's the only thing that can't be there. So this is actually a naked single. No, it can't be anything else but a 3 right in that spot, which is kind of nice. All right, which creates now pointing pair of 3s right here. And I'll move a little faster with the pointing pairs as we move along. Hope you're picking up on it. And then the 3 and the 3 means that these 2 spots got to be a 3 right there. Okay. And what are the cells remaining? So now the 4 coming across here. So now the 4s are limited to those 2 spots here in block 5. So 4's there, 4's there. So what can be in here? A 1, 2, looks like 4 and 5. Well, now the 2 coming down means the 2's are limited to those 2 spots. So I can mark that. 2's here, 2's here. This is getting kind of interesting. So 1, 2, 4, 5. Looks like these are all like they're going to be bi-value cells because they're only going to be limited to these 2 spots in each of these areas. That's very interesting. It's very interesting. Okay. Now moving on with the puzzle here. Let's look in block 4. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need a 5, 6, 7, 9. So I see a 6, 9 here. And so now I'm going to start filling in what's known as, if I can see it's limited to 2 candidates by value cell, I'll make those marks. So 5, 7, 8, 9, or excuse me, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So 5, 6, 7, 9 limited there. This would be, you can see the 9s are limited to these 2 spots here. So I'll make those marks. And this would be a 5, 6, 7. So I'm not going to mark that. And this would be, looks like a 6, 9. So I'll mark that because it's just limited to those 2 cells. And once you start seeing and looking at these bi-value cells, we're going to be trying to point out some more of like these hidden pairs, maybe some naked pairs as well. Okay. All right, so let's look at these 6s. Column 4 and 5, 6. Where can a 6 be here in block 2? It has to be right there, right? And so since that's 6, there's only we can solve for 6 up here in block 1. Nice. And now you see we can make these marks for these ones because there's just 2 of those left there. And you're looking at a 1, 8, 9. And see with this 9 right here, I can make that mark as a 1, 8. And then with the 1 right here, I can make that as an 8, 9. I will fill this in as a 1, 8, 9, kind of show this naked triple. Maybe those come into play, but this is not standard. You don't necessarily need to do that. One of the things I like about doing handmade puzzles, like Florian Wortmann made this puzzle, is there's a solve path. They go for an intended solve. Usually they make the grid look nice. Like this one has a lot of symmetry coming around the edges and in the middle. And so I'm always trying to find what is that intended solve path. So I don't think I've found the real break-in solve path just yet, but I feel like we're getting close, right? And so we're going to keep hammering away at this puzzle until we figure out the rest of it. Okay, So now looking for more restrictions, let's look at column 6 here. We only have 3 spots remaining, a 1, a 2, and a 9. So you notice there's a 1 and a 2 right here in row 7, so then that has to be your 9, right? And so then we can mark that as a 1, 2, and I'll mark this as a 1, 2. And every time you fill in a candidate, then you want to see what does that do for a puzzle. So a 9 here, 9 here. Now it puts some pressure here on block 9. And so there's a 9. So we only have 1 spot left for a 9. So we can solve that for a 9, which is nice. And then this 9 and this 9 means that 9 is limited to 2 spots here in block 3. Okay. And since we added a 9 here, we can see, there's, again, like I say, more pressure. Let's look at where, what can be here in column 5. So you see that can only be a 1 or 8, and what's missing in column 5 is a 1, 2, 4, and an 8. So you see there's a 1 and an 8. That can only be a 2 and a 4. 1, 2, so this can only be a 4 and an 8. And then that can actually be everything, 1, 2, 4, and 8. Since I see it, I will mark it. That doesn't really help us too much. Okay, let's look up column 8 here. So we here have a 1, 3, 6, 8, 9. So you're looking for a 2, 4, 5, 7. All right, so you notice there's a 5 and 7 right here. That means these can only be 2 and 4. So this is a naked pair. So this is nice. So now you have the 2 and the 4 here, naked pair. That means no other candidates can be there, and it's going to help us fill in the rest of this. Because now with this 2, 4 right here, this can no longer be a 4. A 4 has to be up here in block 3. So now we can solve that for a 4. I think that might be the break-in we're looking for. Because since that's 4, now that has to be a 4. And since that's a 4, this is going to be your 2, and this is going to be your 1. And you notice as I remove the 1, I remove one of those 5 marks as well, so that means I know that that can be a 5. Awesome. I think you need to see this pair right here. I think you need to see that naked pair. This is good. Okay, so then we filled in the 2s, 4s. Let's look here. So 4, 4, and a 4. 2 and a 2. 2 spots for 2 here. And a 5 and a 5, meaning 2 spots for 5 right there. Okay, and what is, and actually this can't be a 2, can it, right? Because the 2, 4 pair coming. So we know that we can actually solve that for a 2. So then this is going to be 5, 7 to go along with the 5, 7 on this end of the row. Nice. Okay, great. So 2, 2, 2, 4. Got it. What's left right here? We need a 6 and a 7. Okay, so we can make that as a 6 and a 7. Make this as a 6 and a 7. Sweet. All right, and then this 5, 7, and this is also limited to be a 5, 7 to finish out column 8. Okay, I am excited because this is great. I mean, we're going to get to solving the rest of this puzzle here real soon. So you notice how this 9 comes up here? It can't be there, and it can't be there. So the 9s are actually limited to these 2 spots. And so that makes the 9s a pointing pair. You remember we had this 9 right here? Well, we can get rid of that 9. That 9 is no longer valid because we know the 9s now have to be in row 2 over here in block 1. So then we can actually solve that for a 9. Sweet. Great. So we can solve that for a 9. That's no longer a 9. That's a 1, 8 pair. This has to be your 9 in block 2. All right. I like where we're going with this. And so now we have this 1, 8, and 1, 8, and we have this 2, 4, and 2, 4. Both of those are naked pairs. That means that this cell right here has to be whatever is remaining. And that would be a 3, right? Because there's no 3s along row 3. Nice. Okay, 3 and a 3, and a 3 coming across row 8. So we can solve that for a 3. We can get rid of this 3 here, solve that for a 3. I love it. I love it. And now you have this 1 right there. That's going to be an 8, and that's going to be a 1. Could have solved that a little bit sooner. And now the 1 and the 4 means this can be an 8, and this is going to be your 2. And this is going to be your 1. You see how we're just getting rid of all those marks that we made previously, right? And so let's continue on. As we made the solves, 2 and a 2 here, and there's a 2 right there, so we can solve that for a 2. Great. 2 and a 2, and a 2 here in row 2. So that has to be your 2 in block 1, which means that has to be your 4. And we can get rid and solve these hidden and naked pairs. Okay, awesome, awesome. I love it. So you look right down here. This is called a full house, right? Because whether you're looking at the column or the block, there's only one cell remaining. So it's easier to look at the block to solve this. And if you look at it right away, you can notice the missing cell is a 4. But you could also look all the way down the column. It's a little harder to spot it looking down the column. I've made a all single cell solving video on my channel, and I kind of talk about how it's easier to, working with your eyes, what's easier to see as you're solving at the end. So there's a 4 coming down column 1, so we can solve that for a 4 because these other 4s right there. And now what I'm doing is I'm looking for the areas of like the greatest restriction and can help do that to finish the solving. So what that means is I want to look at the places that have 2 cells remaining, 3 cells remaining, and see what I can solve there. So let's look at like row 9 here, right? You see we're missing a 5 and a 7. There's a 7 right there. So I know that has to be your 5, and this has to be your 7. And now that means only 2 spots remaining right here. So we're missing a 5 and a 6. There's your 5. So that's your 5, and that's your 6. And see, we're kind of now solving 2 cells at a time. So I got that 6 here. It means that has to be your 9. 5, 6, 7. That 7, that would be we can get rid of the 9, and that'd be a 5, 6. We can't solve that yet, but this creates what's called a naked triple, and I can highlight that. See how the 5, 6, 7 are limited to these 3 spots here in column 3? Well, that means that they can't be in any of those, can't be in this spot right there. So what we can do is solve this for the remaining cell, which would be a 9. And oops. All right, so what's left here? 7 and an 8. We got the 8 there and the 7 there. Nice. Okay, and you can look across row 1. We only got 1 cell remaining there. That's got to be an 8. 8, 8, and 8. And actually cross hatching, which is when you're just scanning for all of one candidate, is going to be the quickest way to solve from this point, combined with finding these hidden singles, filling out these full houses. Okay, 1, 1, we just solved the 1 in column 9, so we can do that for a 1, and then what's remaining here, let's finish that out. That's 3, which means that has to be your 3, and then what's left here, we got the 5, we got the 3, so it has to be your 6, and that's a 6, that's a 7, that's a 5, and then we can come across here, that's a 6, that's a 7, and that is your 5. So we have 2 cells remaining, right? We solved the 5 right there, so we know that has to be your 7. And then what we have right here is going to be your last cell, which is a 6. Well, check out my channel, Smart Hobbies, to learn more Sudoku tips, tricks, and strategies. Thank you, Learn Something, for featuring me on your channel. And I thank you, Florian Wortmann, for letting me feature your puzzles. They're great. Thank you so much for watching.